Okay, so if you watched my last video on why your migraines get worse at night, this is kind of the counter to that. If your migraines get better in the evening time, and why is that? You also might find that some days they get better and some days they get worse. So if that's the case for you, you're going to want to watch both this one and my previous one of why do my migraines get worse at night, okay? So in this video, I'm going to share with you three reasons for why your migraines might improve at night and what you can try to see if your migraines respond. And that would give us some really good information about some of the triggers and some of those imbalances that are happening for you that are contributing to your migraine. And so the last one that I'm going to share is actually a very small dietary tweak that you can make that gives us some really great information to give you some quick relief. So let's see what those are. So my name is Dr. Tanya Paynter. I am a naturopathic doctor who specializes in helping women with chronic migraines that are not responding to treatments from a conventional approach. And I also have struggled with chronic headaches my entire life, migraines, and I've been able to overcome it using this exact technique of understanding the biochemistry and the imbalances that are leading to my migraines, which is why I want to help you feel better as well. So just kind of to recap what I mentioned on the last video, that if you've ever noticed that your migraine fits a particular pattern, you're not alone in that. You know, a lot of women, actually all the women I talk to, knew there is some other underlying imbalance that is contributing to their migraines, but none of their doctors are helping them figure out what that is. And so they're not getting better because the medications alone are not enough to bring them back to a place of health. So we need to understand what the patterns we're observing means in order to really focus our attention into what the healing that has to take place and how we can support the biochemistry that is off balance right now. And that can be a tricky thing to do because, you know, it can, first of all, be very hard to figure out those patterns. And secondly, even if you do, even your doctor might not understand the significance of what you're sharing with them. So let's talk about some of the three biggies as far as why your migraines might be feeling better at night and what that might mean for you. So first one is increases in melatonin. So melatonin is it's our sleep hormone. It does so much more than that, though. It helps to reduce inflammation. It is an antioxidant, which I've talked about multiple times before, of the antioxidant deficiencies that happen in women with chronic migraines. And so this is a way that your body is able to detoxify from the things it's been exposed to through the day. And if you don't have enough antioxidants, you can't get rid of those toxins. Those toxins cause inflammation. Inflammation triggers migraines. So, you know, as you move through the day and your melatonin starts to increase at nighttime, that can be a reason for why you feel better. The increase in melatonin also means an increase in serotonin. And there is another video that I've shot. It should be up now. If it's not, it might be up next week. But anyway, about serotonin and migraines. So that would be something else to take a look at. If you have any depression, you feel better at nighttime, serotonin is going to be an issue for you. So make sure you check out that video. But back to melatonin. So it helps to support that serotonin pathway. It also helps to reduce something called nitric oxide. So nitric oxide is another chemical that our body produces that helps our blood vessels to relax. And this is a really good thing. It helps to reduce blood pressure. It helps our body to respond to stressors and relax after it's done with the stressor. And it helps with blood flow and oxygenation of our body tissues. But when we have too much of it, and we have chronic dilation of our blood vessels, then that leads to migraines. And so vasoactive migraines, and in particular vasodilation, is a big trigger for a lot of women. So for you, if you take caffeine and that helps, triptans help, things like that, vasodilation is going to be a piece of the puzzle for you. And so melatonin will actually help to reduce the nitric oxide, which will improve a vasodilation related migraine. So that could be another reason why you feel better at nighttime. So one of the things that you can try to see if that works for you is actually taking some a melatonin supplement. So there is multiple studies about migraines responding well to melatonin. And that could be something that you can try even during the daytime as an abortive for your migraine. Again, just like a triptan or something else, it has to be taken at the very first sign if it's going to be effective, and you have to have a high enough dose in order to know if it's going to work for you or not. So generally speaking, the studies have looked at research for melatonin doses between 3 and 10 milligrams. I am always an advocate of starting with the lowest dose and working up. But one of the caveats, and I mentioned this in the migraine and depression video, is that melatonin does work on the serotonin pathway. And so if you are on antidepressants, either for depression or for your migraines, or you're on anything else that helps to boost serotonin, you have to make sure that you check with your doctor before you start melatonin, because it can lead to something called serotonin syndrome, which can kill you. So anyway, that my one caveat. So, if you're like a lot of people, you think supplements are completely benign and not dangerous, that can be very, very incorrect. So just this one is one that you need to make sure you talk to your doctor about. All right, so melatonin, increases in melatonin, trying some melatonin supplementation during the day to see if that helps with any of your migraines can be an option. Number 2 of why your migraines might feel better at nighttime is your body switches into parasympathetic mode at night most often. So if you're not familiar, there's our fight or flight, which is our sympathetic pathway, and there is our rest and digest, which is our parasympathetic pathway. And basically what it means is when we're under stress, we go into fight or flight. And that is where a lot of people with chronic migraines are stuck. They're stuck in fight or flight mode. They have too much of all our stress hormones going on, and that contributes to their migraine syndrome. We need to learn as a society, but especially us with chronic migraines, is we need to learn how to activate our parasympathetics, our rest mode, our rest and digest mode is what it's called. And so that tends to be more commonly activated at nighttime. And so when we get home from work, we're able to just, let go of things. You enjoy your family. You can put your feet up. You don't have to rush around anymore. You're kind of done for the day. That's when our body likes to de-stress. That can be a trigger for some people, but it can also actually help to reduce those stress molecules in our body. And so that alone will tell us a lot about how stress is responding in your body and which biochemicals it could be contributing to. So I'm not going to get into that right now, because it's a very complicated topic on its own. But we want to do what we can, especially throughout the day, to help turn on our parasympathetics. So one of the things that we can do is to incorporate those breaks throughout the day. So if you are kind of a chronic workaholic, if you're still able to work, we tend to like to just work through, and I say we because I am also very, very guilty of this. We like to work through lunch. We don't take breaks. We got stuff to do. Who has time for that, right? And it's one of the worst things that we can do for ourselves and our migraines. And so learning to step away from the desk, step away from the workload, step away from the kids, whatever your job is, and going for a walk outside, or even just sitting with your feet in the grass, or taking a bath or a shower. I mean, sometimes to de-stress myself, I'll take a shower in the middle of the day. I'll just go in, I'll take a nice warm shower with a little bit of cold mixed in, kind of invigorates you, and it really helps to relax. It's just, 5-10 minutes of some sort of relaxing thing at multiple points through the day, ideally. But the other things that we can do to help kind of stimulate those parasympathetics, anti-inflammatory diets can help. And things like meditation, breathing exercises, humming or singing, believe it. That's one of the reasons why you hear the meditation, the Om, that particular humming vibration actually stimulates the nerve that is responsible for turning on the parasympathetics. So there's actually a reason for that funny noise. That doesn't mean you have to Om around the house, but humming to your favorite tune, singing songs, those things will actually activate the parasympathetic system. So, as after a stressful day at work, you don't always, or during a stressful day at work, you don't always feel like humming or singing. But if you can kind of force yourself to doing that, that actually can really help to activate the parasympathetics and tamp down that stress response. And then the last little tip that I have for you, and I kind of touched on it, something that I do, is a cool shower. So actually cold will activate the parasympathetics. So if you have ever noticed that a cold shower actually helps you feel better, that could be one of the reasons why is it's activating your vagus nerve, which is that nerve I said was responsible for turning on the parasympathetics, or the rest and digest mode. So doing some cool shower in the middle of the day even, and sometimes, you know, during a particularly stressful day, I'll actually sometimes be in there 2 or 3 times. So, and that's okay too. All right, so let's talk about number 3. This is, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we just talked about, number 2, with the stress response. But nighttime brings a reduction in our catecholamines. So catecholamines are our stress neurotransmitters, adrenaline or epinephrine. Those are the same thing, or norepinephrine. Those are catecholamine neurotransmitters. They are produced when we're under stress. And people that are under chronic stress and have elevated catecholamines that can't process enough of them, that will actually trigger migraines. And so this is another way that stress plays a role in our migraines. So if you, here's a good example of when a catecholamine reaction might be an issue for you. You're driving down the road, somebody almost hits you, you get that adrenaline dump, right? That rush, that holy crud, I was just almost in an accident. If that immediately triggers a migraine within like minutes, this is an issue for you. Okay, that is not an uncommon response where you get even somebody that isn't prone to migraines, you can actually get a headache from that rush. But if that happens and then you are down and out with a migraine, that is a very good clue that the catecholamines are an issue for you. Okay, or any other kind of high stress. Like if you're in the moment and you feel super stressed and you get a migraine in that super stressful moment, it's a catecholamine issue. Versus if you are stressed and you make it through the stress and then an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, you get your migraine, that's going to be more of a cortisol drop response. Okay, so the timing, even by hours like that, can really give us clues as far as that biochemistry. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, of really understanding how your migraines are triggered, what triggers them, when they come on. Those kinds of things are really important to track, and then bringing that to somebody who understands what all of that means. Okay. All right, so back to the reduction in catecholamines. So those stress neurotransmitters will really are big triggers, and they will begin reducing as we come home. So again, as the parasympathetics switch on, or as our stress reduces, we also start processing and getting rid of our catecholamines, and that can be a reason why we start feeling better at nighttime. So if this is something, you know, if you've listened to this last little bit and you're like, yeah, that's totally me, and you have not yet tried a low tyramine diet, that might be a very good place to start. So tyramines will help to, their precursor, it's a precursor precursor building block, if you will, of our catecholamines. And so if you eat a lot of them and you've got a lot of those building blocks floating around, your body's like, sure, let's make some more of this. We got lots of stress. We can always use some extra epinephrine, and then migraine. So a low tyramine diet can be helpful for you. Or conversely, if you've already tried a low tyramine diet and you feel better on it, then we know you've got an issue with processing your neurotransmitters, your catecholamines. And an important kind of side note that I'll mention about this is, if you have found that that's the case for you, you don't want to be on a low tyramine diet forever, right? It's fairly restrictive. What ideally would happen is that we've identified a big problem for you. Now we need to work on helping to improve how your body processes those catecholamines. We reduce how frequently they're produced, and we help to support how they're gotten rid of. And there's actually a lot of different ways we can do that, both with supplemental protocols and also with lifestyle changes, where we can actually improve how your body is able to get rid of those things. So, so you've done the hard work of figuring out the pattern and what that underlying issue is. Now it's a matter of addressing it. And that's the piece that's always missing, is nobody ever addresses it. They just say, yay, I figured out I can't eat tyramine foods, and they stay on a low tyramine diet forever, but that's not going to fix the problem. So I very much encourage you to look at what it means to heal and how your body can improve its processing if you find that the low tyramine diet works for you, either if you've already tried it or if you're going to try it. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. I know that was a lot of information. If you liked this video and you want more of it, then click the like button for me. And you can also subscribe to my channel for notification of when I get a new video out, which I try to do at least once a week. So that's it. That's it for now. If you found this helpful and you have anything to add, please drop me a note in the comments. I love to read how, any light bulbs that went on for you as you watch these videos. Okay, until next time.